Hi everyone. Feels like I haven't done a general reading in so long, and it's only been a week. But for those of you that didn't know, I had a really bad eye infection this week. So I was using drops where it was like my vision was impaired. So I wasn't really able to do a lot of work. So a couple of announcements before I do the general energy for this week. Personal readings, I am catching up on them. I'm doing the best that I can. Thank you for your patience. If you're waiting for a personal reading and you haven't heard from me yet, it is coming, especially those who have been waiting a week, but it is coming. I'm doing my best to get, make sure my energy stays level and I get the personal readings out too. So truly, truly appreciate all of the patience. Also, I do have a holiday sale going on my website. Readings are up to 25% off right now, only for a limited time. I think I'm only going to run it for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. It kind of depends. And if you also want to make a reading into a gift certificate, just let me know in the email that you send to me. We can make that into a gift certificate. It can and it'll be emailed to you. So you'll have to print the gift certificate off, or you can electronically have it sent to whoever you want it to be sent to. And also I am going to be, doing a live reading with my very good friend, Eric, on Divine Conversations tonight. It will be, tonight, December 11th. It's Tuesday, December 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, I will link his channel in the description box below. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things when it comes to like the whole twin flame journey, when it comes to the light worker journey, when it comes to soulmates, and we're also going to do some energy updates for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So that should be really fun. He's one of my very best friends and part of my soul family. So come check us out tonight, December 11th at 5 p.m. Other than that, yeah, the holiday sale, make sure you check out my website, fearlessintuition.net. So this week, there's not a lot of movement happening, but there's a lot of movement happening, and I'm going to explain that. So we don't have a lot of things in transit. Mercury will be moving from Scorpio into Sagittarius tomorrow on Wednesday, depending on where you are in the world. And this is the third time that Mercury has gone into Sagittarius, because we had the retrograde in Mercury, and then it went into Sagittarius, and then it came out of so Mercury's been doing this dance between Sagittarius and Scorpio for a while. And all except for one planet right now is direct. So Uranus is in retrograde in Aries right now. And so if you're feeling really irritated and agitated right now, it's because I put a post up, I think it was a week ago on my Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, it's Fearless Intuition 1111. Go check that out, because I do a lot of updates and posting and just fun stuff on my Instagram. I haven't done live readings yet, but I'm thinking about doing that. But I did post something on my Instagram like a week ago about how the energy is starting to quicken. It's starting to get a little quicker after all of these retrogrades that we went through. So if you're feeling yourself like coming from a place of like stagnancy, and now sort of being pushed into letting go of and releasing all of that excess energy that was built up during that time of retrograde season, breathe through it. Like, the biggest thing that I'm having to tell everybody is when you're breathing and taking really deep breaths, make sure that you're breathing all the way into your belly and not just into your lungs, because we want to make sure that the energy is flowing all the way through all of our chakras. And when you breathe deeply into your stomach, it helps you feel a little bit more grounded. It helps you feel a little bit more safe and secure. So and plus it's the holiday season, and everybody, just in the last week, I have seen so many wrecks. Like, people are on fast forward, like they're on overdrive right now. And if you're feeling like you're kind of on overdrive, you should be doing things, but you're kind of being forced to sit, but you feel like you have too much that you need to do, write a list, take it from the Virgo that like mutable earth. Yes, I'm mutable, but I'm still very like earthy and grounded, and like sometimes all of this excess energy gets to me too. And I've really felt it. Like the last couple of mornings I've woken up and I just felt like these waves of really heavy emotional energy like washing over me. And I know one of the reasons why I get forced to like pause, to sit sometimes, is because I have to reflect on what I'm feeling. And I have to recognize, is this my energy? Is this the collective energy? Is this my counterpart's energy? Is who am I like dealing with? Is it my divine masculine? Doesn't matter who it is. But when you sit with yourself and you sit with your spirit and you get in touch with your spirit and you do that breathing technique that I talked about, where you're breathing deep breaths all the way into your belly and not just pulling it into your lungs, you can flow that energy a lot easier. Also, drinking water really helps energy flow. If you feel a buildup of energy, go outside and ground yourself. We've talked about this before. Mother Earth, Gaia, she likes getting that extra energy. One of my teachers and mentors, she says, it's like compost for Mother Earth, which is like a brilliant way to put it. Gaia will take all of that excess energy from you and do something good with it and produce something good out of it. So if you need to get grounded, even if it's cold outside, just spend like 10 minutes outside, 5 minutes outside, whatever, and set the intention that you're releasing all of that extra negative energy. Or if you're having to deal with a lot of people or projects that aren't finished in your life and you're just like overwhelmed, give it to Earth. Give it to Mother Earth. She'll handle it for you. So this is going to be a very fast-paced week. Mercury being in Sagittarius, there's going to be, the sun is in Sagittarius right now. And we'll have a square with the moon towards the end of the week. This could bring a little bit more irritation. Make sure with Mercury in Sagittarius, it could also bring up, make sure that you're watching how much you're spending. If you need to watch how much you're spending, because sometimes with all of this fast-paced energy, we don't really think about it until it's too late, right? So just be extra mindful. Be present in the moment. Don't try and be 3 or 4 steps ahead of yourself. Try and be right where you are in the moment right now. Like I said, there's not a lot of transits that are happening, but because the energy is so fast right now and everything is direct, and we're going into a time where, if you did have a lot to purge during these retrogrades, we're going into a time of eclipse season in January. Oh, that was the other announcement. I am going to be rolling out the 2019 readings, general readings for each sign this week. Again, thank you for your patience with that. I'm not doing the soulmate readings this month because I just don't have time. I was I was forced to take some time off and take breaks. And it was much needed. So those will start back up again in January, but I want to make sure I get the 2019 readings and the January readings done. So let's see what the overall energy is that we can work with. One more shuffle here. What is there it is. I knew it. I was like, why is it taking so long? It's because I wasn't paying attention. All right. Yes, fire. So much fire energy. So we have take the lead, which is the 3 of Wands. And we also have manifest, and this is the magician in the traditional tarot. So talking about Mercury, the magician is ruled by Mercury. So it is time for you to step into your power. This is the message that I'm getting. It's time for you to step into your power. But in order for you to realize that you can step into your power, that you have the opportunity to step into your power right now, and not let anybody else get in the way of that, the way that you do it is you get centered and you get in touch with yourself, and you get in touch with grounding and Mother Nature, kind of like everything that I talked about in the beginning. But the cards, I mean, like, this is amazing. It's time for you to get out there. It's time for you to stand your ground. It's time for you to start making things happen. If you feel the energy pushing you forward, just make sure that you're really, really mindful about what you're doing and you're not trying to skip the steps, because this really quick energy that's happening right now, there is like opportunities where you can often skip steps through this and then go back and be like, oh man, I made a mistake there. The healing journey, albeit very difficult, very long, very burdensome. 2018 is coming to a close. We have the Star and we have the 10 of Wands. And I feel like a lot of you are recognizing that you're kind of laying these burdens down. Yes, you're still working very, very hard towards your goals, towards what you want. There's a lot of things about tradition right now. And there's this need or desire to want to belong with a lot of us, right? And I feel like and it's so interesting. This is one of the things that I'm going to talk about with Eric tonight. So it's so interesting that it's coming up. But I want you to be mindful in your life, in your day-to-day life, and everywhere that you're going and everywhere that you're headed. Where are you placing your morals and values and your traditions? Do all of these values lie within how other people want to see you? Or are you placing your morals and values in how you see yourself and how you truly belong within yourself? And because we want to feel connected, the Four of Wands, with the Hierophant and the Four of Wands, we want to feel connected. We want to have this happy home, this happy environment. We want to be in love. We have the Lover's card here. We want to be in that relationship that defies all space and time, right? But is it the romantic aspect that you're thinking about? Or are you allowing yourself to see the reality of the situation? Are you wanting it to look are you subscribing to a belief system where you want it to look one certain way? Or are you opening your mind up to holding space for a person? This is a really big thing. And one of the things I'm going to touch on tonight a little bit more, I'll explain a little bit more tonight on the channel. We need to recognize where we're holding space for someone versus waiting for them, right? Because it has been a burden, and the irritation that we feel and the bitterness that can come along with it and the anger that can come along with it can make you question what you truly believe in. And if somebody else is saying, well, you should believe in this or you should believe in that, but you're not resonating with and you resonate with something completely different, it's okay to say, I'm not resonating with what you're saying, or I'm not resonating with where you are at the moment, right? That's like one of the biggest things between holding space for a certain idea and subscribing to a belief system that you don't resonate with, okay? And then we have the Six of Cups. So during the retrograde period, if somebody came back into your life or somebody left your life and now you're kind of holding space for that person and wanting them to come back, I feel like there will be a lot of instances. It's very interesting this is turning into a relationship reading, because I honestly thought that this week was going to be, and I love how the cards do this to me, I honestly thought this week was going to be about manifesting your own personal power and pushing forward in that. And maybe that has a lot to do with it, where you are manifesting your personal power, but you're still kind of holding space for somebody. And holding space for somebody that's not toxicity. That's not being toxic. The toxic part is when you lose yourself within that, right? That's when things become toxic. But it feels like somebody really wants to come back. There's been this really heavy energy of just pushing along and pushing along and pushing along and trudging along and really hoping that something changes or something opens up. But were you subscribed to a belief system where your ego was in charge and your ego was saying either you're not allowed to contact somebody, you're not allowed to talk to somebody, or they're not allowed to contact you, or something like that, right? Like there's a feeling of somebody's holding on to a very heavy burden, and it's after a time of healing, and now they're wanting to really open up and bring forth something much more positive. And it's because another person held space for them. And like holding space is kind of like saying, I'm not giving up on you, but I have boundaries. There, that's the easiest way to put it. I'm not giving up on you, but I have boundaries. So someone's really burdened. Let's clarify these. Someone's really burdened after a time of healing, or after a time of recognizing they needed to balance some things out in their life. Someone's really burdened on which direction to go now. And it seems to me that it has to do with a past relationship or around family. So let's see. What is the star? Okay. So there was this opportunity. There was an opportunity to heal. And I feel like somebody had to kind of dip out. The Four of Cups for me is that dip out card. You know, maybe this could be a missed opportunity. A lot of people say that about. But I feel like in order for balance to be restored in someone's life, in order for an opportunity to be recognized, somebody had to dip out and heal. And maybe not even like dipping out isn't really the way to say it. Maybe it's more of, this was a really big burden on me, and I needed to be able to hold space for myself and not just another person. And so I have to allow myself this time to push forward. So if you're feeling that this week, where it's like in the past or during the retrogrades, you know, you had to focus on you. That's okay. It's okay. A lot of people think, you know, we live in a world where it's like, is it really selfish to do self-care? I am of the mindset that it's not as selfish as other people may think it is. Because I know that when I am needing quiet time, that's my self-care. I know that when I'm needing to pull away from other people, or, you know, not even work for a couple of days. And I mean, I'm a Virgo, I'm a workaholic. That's what I do. I love my job. I don't like disappointing other people. And when I have to focus on myself, sometimes it's forced. And that's exactly what happened to me. And now this week it's like, okay, I had my time away. Excuse me. I had my time away from everybody. Throat chakra clearing. I had my time away from everybody. Now I'm going to get back to the grind. I'm going to get back to the daily grind. I'm going to get back to what I do best. So the 10 of Pentacles on the 10 of Wands. If you're finding yourself, actually, and there's another message coming through. If you're finding yourself really focused on work right now and not focusing on your healing or not focusing on your journey, that could create a problem in the future, because sometimes we disconnect from ourselves when we're like, no, I'm just going to ignore the problem and just work really hard and try to get past it. So if you're one of those people, often I do that. I mean, I'll just be real with you guys. I'll be straight with you. You know, if I want to avoid an issue in my life, sometimes I'll put my head down and just work. Get back in touch with your spirit. And the easiest way to do that is to just close your eyes and feel it in your heart space. Come down from your head and go into your heart space. And set the intention that you want to listen to your intuition, and you want to feel your way through it, right? There's definitely a transformation in somebody's belief systems, or the movement, like moving away from one subscribed belief system into another, right? And not even subscribing to it, but opening your mind and opening your thoughts to more, to broader ideas, right? Because the Hierophant is all about tradition. It's all about traditional value. It's all about marriage. And then we have the Death card, which is about death and rebirth. And something has to die in order to be reborn. Even we lose the leaves in the fall every year. Like the leaves have to come off the trees in order for them to grow back even more beautiful in the springtime. So if you're feeling like I feel like some people right now, the healing aspect of it is that they do have to be alone. And they are working really hard to get into that comfort zone. But they're questioning, is what I have believed in all this time the truth? Is it my truth? Is it what I hold dear as my truth? Or did it resonate for me for a time and I learned a lot about myself and now I can move on into something else? And I think that as this transformation happens and as we move into a more open mindset, you can feel a little bit more stable, right? And with the Four of Wands, especially in this kind of position where I feel like there's a lot of transformation happening and there's a lot of people kind of moving from one idea into another. For me, I always want to say, with the Four of Wands, it talks about marriage and stability and home and family life. Again, we have a lot of family cards here. So I think a lot of this probably stems from your childhood, because we also have the Six of Cups, your past. You know, what are you bringing into your adult life? Are you still really holding on to a lot of belief systems from your childhood? Are you releasing that now and it's kind of a burden because now you have to fill it back up with something else, right? Otherwise you just kind of feel empty. But with the Four of Wands, I always say, where is your home really? Is it a structure? Is it a material subset of your life? Or is it in your heart? Because if you feel at home in your heart, then you can be at home anywhere. I had to learn that when I was traveling a lot this year. I had to learn a lot about that. And I do feel like a lot of people are either hearing news about family, hearing news about new homes, possibly. With the Page of Wands, this is also like going off on new journeys, but it's almost like somebody else is sort of initiating it for you. They're kind of pushing you forward in a new direction or in a new way and saying, you know, if you're getting messages from somebody else when it comes to your stability and how you feel stable within yourself, I want to say listen to them. Don't ignore the messages of people because with Mercury in Sagittarius, people the messages are going to be really, really quick right now and things are going to come through really, really fast. And you're going to have to listen very carefully because you may, again, miss something. With the messages coming through so fast like that, you may miss something. But I do feel like, you know, and it's almost like if you're getting a new home or you're moving or some kind of transition is happening within the home, but it's not in a traditional way. You know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like somebody is kind of setting their life up where it's very non-traditional, but it works and it makes them feel really good and really grounded and really secure within themselves. So we have the Lovers. Yes. Okay. And if this is happening around a relationship, there's a lot of Wands energy here. A lot of Wands energy. I mean, we started off with the Three of Wands because I feel like some people have been manifesting things and they're waiting for their manifestations to come. And I think a lot of people are actually getting messages or getting signs from the universe or kind of getting this shock value this week of your manifestations are coming true. They may not look exactly the way you thought they were going to be. It's in a very non-traditional form. It's really interesting. There's a huge transformation that's happening within the collective. Within the collective that's not even conscious yet. There's a lot of awakenings going on. There are a lot of twin flames that are just now meeting and then going to have to go through their separation process. There are a lot of twin flames that are coming into union. I've actually spoken with several people in the last couple of weeks who are twin flames, who have heard from their divine feminine or divine masculine, whoever it was that had kind of like ghosted or walked away. I've heard that there's a lot of people where like just out of the blue. And that's kind of what an Ace of Wands is. It's that like shock value out of the blue, not in a bad way, but it sparks a conversation. It sparks a passion project. It sparks moving forward, right? And you don't see it coming, but it has to do with, and this could also be the catalyst to your own divine masculine and your own divine feminine coming together within you. Because we all have it. We all have the divine masculine. We all have the divine feminine. I lean more towards the divine feminine side, but my divine masculine has been very loud, like very loud lately. We'll put it that way. The logical side and the needing to be grounded instead of, you know, up in the 5D all the time, where my divine feminine loves to be in the 5D and just live that spiritual world. I've really had to come down and become very grounded and get comfortable with my divine masculine side. Which is fine with, like, I'm perfectly okay with that. And it has proven to be quite an experience. And I've learned a lot more about myself. It's almost like you don't realize that you are still learning things about yourself until you realize it. And you're just like, oh, wow, that might be that shock value too. So, there's a lot of movement forward, and there's a lot of new beginnings that are coming about. And if they're not happening this week, you're feeling it. And that's what this energy is about. It's all about, after all the purging that we did, the Mercury in retrograde, the Venus in retrograde, and now absolutely everything is direct except for Uranus. And then we're coming into a time of eclipses in January. So you want to be ready for these new beginnings, because like solar eclipses are really good for new beginnings and for jump starting things. And lunar eclipses, which will be at the end of January, that's really all about what are you releasing? What are you letting go of? What are you purging out of your life? What are the things that are still kind of hanging on so you can have these new beginnings? What are you holding space for that you shouldn't be holding space for, or what are you waiting on that you shouldn't be waiting on? Because again, there's a difference between holding space and waiting. And when you hold space, for example, another person, like say you're not in contact with your divine masculine or your divine feminine, but you hold space for them, that just simply means that you still have love energy for them, but they don't consume your day. They don't consume your mind. They don't consume your life. Because you can hold space for a person. It's kind of like that uncle that you see once a year. You know you love your uncle very much, and it's like you have very fond memories of your uncle, but you only see them once a year in your life. You can hold that love space for that person and still live your life and not be crippled by it. That's the difference between waiting and pining and holding space. Okay? And we'll talk more about that again tonight on Eric's channel, Divine Conversations. So we got the Wheel of Fortune on the Six of Cups. The energy shift is happening. And a lot of people are manifesting it on their own. And the energy shift between your past lives or your childhood or even just 6 months ago. There's something different about it. You can look back into your life from 2 years ago, from 6 years ago, from 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. From centuries ago. Like I've done past life regressions and I still have memories from them that pop up. And I'm like, where did that come from? Oh, wow, that was my past life, you know, because I've opened that portal within myself, within my consciousness. And there's this energy shift from your past, whatever past it is. And you're recognizing that there is a transformation that's happening because you're creating this energy shift. And when you are able to have space for yourself and heal, you can allow for new things to come in. You can allow for yourself to no longer be burdened, but be abundant. Because the 10 of Wands, yes, it feels like a huge burden, but it's just about working really, really hard to get to your goal. And what is your goal? The 10 of Pentacles, whatever the 10 of Pentacles means to you. The 10 of Pentacles could be having that extra $10 in your pocket after paying all of your bills. That could make you feel really abundant. For some people, it's the extra $10. For other people, it's more than that. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is that makes you feel safe and abundant, even if it's not $10 in your pocket, even if it's the fact that you were able to pay your bills and you feel safe and abundant, and maybe you don't have anything extra, but man, does it feel good to be able to pay all that debt off, right? That it was what it was once a burden is now making you feel secure. And it's a security within yourself. It's not a security that you can find on the outside. And I feel like that's what's transforming right now. That's what the transition of the Death card with the Hierophant. Remember, 5 of Swords and the 5 of Cups and the 2 of Swords, Queen of Cups, Strength, Emperor. Could be dealing with a Cancerian. We also have Gemini, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, Aries. A lot of Jupiter energy happening right now. A lot of Jupiter. Remember that the Sun and Jupiter and then Mercury will all be in Sagittarius, so there will be a stellium of planets there. So, a lot of fast-moving energy. If you find yourself slipping backwards into a woe is me attitude, it's because you're not seeing something clearly. And with the 2 of Swords, so I have the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, and the 2 of Swords. And with these 3 cards, it's like you don't have to feel sad about them. And what I feel like you're not seeing is actually the 2 cups that's behind this guy. Like, don't deceive yourself. Like, don't be in a mode of deception where you feel like you've lost everything, because you haven't lost everything. Like, if you keep on going back into the mindset of, but I really want this energy shift to happen, I just don't know how to, or I don't feel like I'm equipped in any way, shape, or form to reach out or to say something or to, you know, I don't feel good. I don't feel like there's a sense of lack. There's a lack mentality here. And instead of doing that to yourself, I want you to don't blindfold yourself. Sorry, I keep on picking the wrong card. The 2 of Swords is what I wanted to look at. Don't be blindfolded by it. Like, she's actually in no way, shape, or form a prisoner here. She could take that blindfold off at any time. All she has to do is put the swords down. It doesn't have to be so hard. And if you're sitting there and you're waiting for somebody to show up in your life, but you have this urge to go forward and maybe, you know, be like, I'm tired of waiting for you to show up in my life. I'm going to take the first step. That's, you know, because the ego can get involved very, very easily. And we can say, oh, but I'm waiting for this person to make the first move. I'm not going to make the first move here. I'm going to wait for the other person to make the first move. Or say what needs to be said. Or open up in some way, shape, or form. Right? That's the ego telling you. That's what you're not seeing. And you're not recognizing that just because there's been loss doesn't mean there's nothing left to gain. There is a sense of pride here that kind of needs to be let go of. You don't have to sit blindfolded with the swords raised. You don't have to sit in that space. You don't have to sit in the woe is me attitude. I've lost everything, because you haven't lost everything. It's actually still there if you turned around. It's just not as burdensome. And you don't have to lie to yourself anymore that you need to be in a situation or a space or an area of your life or whatever is going on in your life. You don't have to be in that and pretend that it's okay. It's okay for you to compromise all the time. Compromise yourself all the time, right? I feel like there's a lot of compromising here. And how do we do that? We feel it. We get in touch with our emotions. Queen of Cups. we listen to our intuition, and we find that inner strength and take control of our lives. You find that inner strength and take control of your lives. And so really recognize what it is where you're allowing your ego versus allowing your intuition, yourself, your spirit guide you. Because if you're doing this in a way where you're like, well, I'm not going to be the one that says I'm in the wrong, that's your ego talking. Because nobody's really in the wrong. They just make poor choices. They do horrible things. And then we have to kind of change our mindset and be like, that person no longer resonates with who I am. I'm walking, right? Or telling yourself over and over and over again, I'm not in the wrong. I'm going, so he has to approach me, or she has to approach me, or whatever. That's where the ego gets involved. That's where we have to say, is this how I'm really feeling? Or is this what my monkey head is telling me, my monkey brain is telling me? That I have to stand in this place of pride. Because there's this very strong energy of wanting to come together, and there's this very strong energy of working very hard to get to a certain place, and knowing that there's this transformation that's happening, feeling the shift that's happening, maybe bringing the past back. But if you're constantly questioning that, you're never going to feel like you're in a safe place. So don't question yourself all the time, and make sure that you're not doing the he said, she said thing, right? So then we have the 3 of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the 3 of Wands, and the 10 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. And this is exactly kind of what I was saying before, where, we are getting to a place where we just want to build something new and really look into our future and see what that means for us and have our soul tribe around us. But you have to do the inner work, right? You need to find out where your placement is first. And that's where all of this pride again can get in the way, because intuitively the inner strength to gain that control it lies within you. It doesn't lie within somebody else, and it doesn't lie within the house that you own, or the car that you drive, or how much business you're making this week, or whatever, right? Your comfort and security really lies within you. And if you're so disappointed and think the way that things happened in the past, then you really need to take a look at that and find out why you're still holding space for the negative things of the past and release it. Because there's something that you're missing there, that it is actually much better to release things and let them go. You want to have the new things come in. And I feel like that a lot of this might have to do, there's several readers out there that I just truly adore that have been talking about, one of them is Saltwater Heals Tarot, talking about how the new person is going to come into your life. You thought that there was this connection with one person for so long. And if this doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't resonate with you. If you are still holding space for somebody else and nobody else is showing up in your life, then it's not for you. This could either be a past person or it's a brand new person. I feel like with a lot of people, it is a brand new person. And if you've had several brand new people come into your life, you have to be very, very discerning about who you're going to choose, because you can get caught up in thinking, oh, this is my new person, and then have to backtrack after getting caught up in that, right? So you really want to be discerning on what it is that is coming into your life and how it's coming into your life, and know that the transformational process is continuously happening, right? Growth doesn't just stop when you feel good, because the energy is going to shift again, and then you're not going to feel good anymore if you just stop growing. So there will be, and I feel like this is for a lot of people, we have the Ace of Cups and the 10 of Cups. Find that inner security within you on where you want to go and where you're going in your life, and manifest it. We have, the Hermit represents Virgo, and that's very mercurial as well. along with the Magician. Remember, we have the Magician as the overall energy. There is a relationship that is there. And whether it's on the peripheral vision of your life or the periphery of your life, or it's coming in and it's showing up in your life, however it resonates with you, make sure you're at peace with it. Because if you, and if you're holding space for somebody and you're not at peace with that and it's just agonizing for you, that's not the space that you want to hold. You don't want to hold a negative space for somebody. You want to be at peace with the space that you're holding. You want to say, I truly believe that this person isn't supposed to be in my life right now because there's a lot of growth that has to happen. And I'm at peace with that. And I'm going to hold love space for that person and make sure that that person is blessed within them, you know, within me and within them, within their lives as well on a daily basis. If you're holding space for somebody and it's agonizing to you and it's painful and it hurts, that needs to be released because there's something new that's trying to come in. There's something new that's trying to come in. Okay. I think I've kind of like talked myself to death. Yeah, we have the sun and Judgment and the moon. And I'm going to do a full moon reading and because the full moon will be in Cancer on the 22nd of December. And I believe it's the 22nd. I think it is. But I do feel like by the time we get to the full moon in Cancer, it's like Judgment Day. It's like a call to action. The full moon in Cancer is going to illuminate a lot of stuff for a lot of people. And it's going to bring a lot of things back from the past that you've worked very, very hard from, or it's going to bring a lot of new things in. Either it'll be past stuff that feels brand new, past people that feel brand new, or it's going to be a lot of really new opportunities. Okay? All right. I'm not going to pull any more cards because I can seriously talk about it all day. Because it's great energy, but you have to be very mindful during it. Okay? Be very mindful. All right. Again, come check out Divine Conversations tonight, December 11th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be a live reading. We're going to go over everything, all the topics that you can possibly think of. So be there. You can ask questions for us and all that. We're also going to do Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine reading. I love Eric so much. He has a very special place in my heart. And so I'm really excited about it. Also, check out all of the holiday specials on my website, fearlessintuition.net. There are reading specials that are up to 25% off. So, and that's only going to be a limited time. And the email readings are back. The $15 one question email readings are back. Remember that if you order the email reading, it will take 10 to 14 days to get your reading to you. But yeah. And if you're waiting on a personal reading from me, it's coming. I promise. Thanks for your patience. I love you guys. Bye.